whiffed it. Oh, well. Welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name is Jenny Sprague. I have the privilege of serving as your president for this year. Our Rotary theme for the month is, for January, is Vocational Services Month. Today's program will be presented by the County Election Coordinator, Voting 101, a nonpartisan look at what's new for elections in '24. And we will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a reflection from Rob Cook, and be sure to say happy birthday when he comes up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am a brand new Rotarian, and so when Rabbi Allen was passing around the sign-up sheet for this, I thought, well, I ought to volunteer. And then I saw the date, January 11th, and I thought, well, I ought to volunteer on my birthday. Although $10 isn't enough for me today, because not only is it my birthday, it's my 50th birthday. So I know. Yeah, so I am half a century old today. So I have a lot to reflect on today. This could go a really long time. But instead, I would like to invite us all just to take a breath so we can take a moment to be grateful. Grateful we are here, grateful we are together, and grateful that because we are together, we can do some good. This day and always, may we all make the most of our time.
Very nice. You all may be seated. Thank you very much, Rob. And again, happy birthday. We will also be wishing happy birthday to another special person. Go ahead. Okay, I was told you were having difficulty hearing me in the back, so if everybody could be quiet, do let me know if you can't hear me. So thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed your fellowship time. We are ready to show a video for our theme of the month, and if you could roll tape, Mike.
Today, I ask you to celebrate our local economy. Rotary International addresses service in 7 areas, including community and economic development. In our local efforts, we often raise funds for economic impact. This past year, our club has developed another effort to improve our local economy by helping our youth recognize opportunities here in Muskegon County by offering them specific ideas on how to best achieve a meaningful and productive career right here.
So what else besides your education, your life experiences, your interests, got you to where you are today?
You decided to stay local, family is local. Tell me a little bit about giving back to the community and what that means to you.
We're in Black History Month. I'm looking at you. I know who I am as well. So we're 2 Black women having this conversation. I'd just like to know, being a minority woman, being a Black woman in the profession that you're in, how do you feel that is portrayed, and what do you feel the benefit is to those that will follow in your footsteps?
Obviously, with people, kids, students watching this and maybe having access to some of the more recent portrayals of police officers in the national media, I mean, what message do you have to them as they look at that and say, gosh, why would I want to be a police officer in today's world?
Well, if I saw your smiling face, I would definitely feel at ease and be able to speak with you about my conditions. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming here and sharing that.
Thank you.
So we thank Delisa for sharing her story with us today. And we thank you for joining us. If you think this program might help someone else, please send them the link. And until next time, the Muskegon Rotary Club would like you to consider doing something good for your community.
Thank you for that, Mike. We have several guests here today. If our guests could please come up here with their friendly Rotary member, that would be great. And I did want to let you know that Rabbi Alpert is passing around the sign-up clipboard for the reflection, and if you would be willing to do that for us, please be sure to sign up.
Hi there. I have two young ladies with me today who will tell you some things about themselves. I first want to say that one of the things that we're really proud of in this club and in this district is service. And our kids, 2 kids and an adult, are going to Honduras this year. And these 2 young ladies and 6 other kids are going to El Salvador to build 1 or possibly 2 houses. 2 of those students, of those 8, are here today, and they're from Reese Puffer. Megan Adams is a senior who went last year and didn't know anybody, but she had an amazing experience, and she went back to Reese Puffer and convinced Megan to come and do this with her, or Candace to come and do this with her. She's going to go to Michigan Tech next year, or Ferris State, to study engineering. And Candace Meyer is a senior also at Reese Puffer who was encouraged to go, and she has already been accepted at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, and is planning to study environmental science. So that makes Mr. Locksterman very happy. Thank you. No, this is Lou. Come up here and go relax.
Yes. My name is Chris Colley. I'm with Age Well Services. Today, my guest is my fiance, Mark Vanderstelt, who also happens to be the new chief of police in Norton Shores.
Congratulations. Are you introducing one another? Okay.
See you on camera so that you can.
My guest is Venia Vorki. She used to be a member of the Rotary Club, and she was one of the 2 Filipino-American members of this club. So there were only 2 of us, and I hope there will be more Filipino-Americans who would like to join our group, because I established the West Michigan Filipino-American Arts and Culture Group. And last month, it was beyond my expectation that the highly acclaimed West Michigan Filipino-American Arts and Culture Group had so many people attending our presentation. They were so curious about what Filipino culture is, because most of the time we talk about Caucasian culture, Black culture, Mexican culture, Latino culture, but not most of the time you talk about Filipino culture.
All right. Yep. All right. Good afternoon, Rotary. Doug Brown here, and we have a wonderful presentation ahead of us today, and took this opportunity to invite Commissioner Sear. Most of you probably know Commissioner Sear, District 1, which is north, the Great White North up there. So, yeah, with the snow coming too. Also, Mr. Bob Baker. Bob Baker is co-chair of the Muskegon Board of Canvassers this year. So very important. Bob will probably be asking questions to Lori and Karen, so be prepared. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rob Mathis. This is my wife, Raina, and we are the co-founders of City Boy nonprofit in North Muskegon.
Welcome.
Slide on over. Good afternoon, Rotary. I'm Marty Seitzma, and guess what? Holidays are over, but that means we have students back. Don't get excited yet, because I haven't told you who they are, because we've got the North Muskegon Norsemen in the house. All right, to introduce two of the seniors is Jennifer Schultz. She is the principal at the high school.
Thanks, Marty. Before I start, I just want to take a moment to be in front of all of you people to say thank you to each of you. I've seen a lot of you either directly or indirectly involved with students in our school and in our community. And Marty described your group as the Honor Society for Adults, which I thought was a great explanation. But genuinely, I think of a stone that's often cast in a pond and the ripple effect keeps going, and you guys are the ripple effect. So please know your work matters, and we see it in our kids. So thank you to all of you for doing what you do. So without further ado, we just came back from break. We're getting ready to start our second trimester and enjoying that. Students are really excited to be back in the swing of things and involved in clubs and extracurricular activities as we are. And two of our rock stars that are here, I'm going to let them tell a little bit about themselves, but two of our seniors who are just dynamic leaders in and out of the classroom and represent everything that we believe Norsemen are is Sage Brewer and Oscar Howard. So first, I'll turn it over to Sage.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sage Brewer. I'm a senior at North Muskegon. At NM, I am our Environmental Club's president, our Honor Society president, and I'm involved in National Honor Society, Orchestra Council, and there was one other, and choir. And yes, I play tennis, varsity tennis as well. Yes, thank you. Next year, when I graduate, I plan on going to Northern Michigan University in Marquette, and I would like to major in marketing and minor in graphic design and sustainability.
Hi, my name is Oscar, and I'm a senior at North Muskegon. In the summers, I volunteer to help with the tech department at the school, repairing Chromebooks and making sure they're all ready for the next school year. I am also part of the NHS, and next year I am intending on attending Ferris State University to major in architecture and construction management.
Welcome to all of our guests. We're happy to have you here with us. And if we are the NHS of adult clubs, everybody's got to update their club runner profile with your GPA, just saying. So there will be a contest. We are ready for today's program. Karen Bowie, if you could please come forward to introduce our speaker. I think those are yours.
Yeah, I think so. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. You know I'm kind of shy and quiet. Why are you laughing? I am so thankful to be here today to present to you. As you know, 2024 is going to be an outstanding election year and very important. And we want to make sure that everyone is fully aware of the new 9 days of early voting that is going to take place. On May 1st, I again took the oath to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state. Proposition 2 was voted on November 8th, 2022 as an initiated constitutional amendment and approved by the voters of Michigan and became law. This law created the mandatory 9 days of early voting and carries out the will of the voters. With the passage of this proposition, from the 2024 presidential primary forward, voters now have the right, once registered, to vote in each statewide and federal election in person at the early voting site prior to election day. And the early voting begins on the second Saturday before the election and ending the Sunday before the election for at least 8 hours a day. My responsibility as the county clerk is to ensure that I follow the laws set forth by the Michigan Constitution. And as the county clerk, I'm responsible for providing support to the various municipalities to make sure that we reach every qualified voter and making sure that everyone has the opportunity to cast their vote in a fair and equitable system. We were able to receive a grant from the state of Michigan. Because of Proposition 2, the clerks could not use their voting machines that they use for their regular elections. They would have to buy new voting machines. And a lot of our townships and municipalities are small, and they're run by one person. And there was just no way that some of the municipalities could run 9 days of early voting prior to each election. That would make like 42 days of voting. And they just didn't have the personnel. So the county was not responsible by the state to run that election, but we thought that it was important to support those municipalities and to make sure that we are the best, have the ability to do the fiscal responsibility for the county. So my wonderful elections coordinator, Lori Hayes, put together the grant. And initially they said we were going to only get 80%. We were notified right before Thanksgiving that we qualified for 100%. So what that means is, instead of the municipalities that cooperated with the county plan, instead of them having to spend $50,000 to $60,000 this year for elections, they may have to spend $2,000. So we saved the county over $1 million. So as I'm going to now present Lori Hayes, who is the elections coordinator, and she is one of the best in the state. I've traveled throughout the state and talked to many county clerks in our meetings and talked to their elections coordinator, and Muskegon has the best. Lori Hayes.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that very much. Again, my name is Lori Hayes. I am the elections coordinator for Muskegon County. And I'm here to explain to you exactly what the 9 days of early voting means and what we have to do constitutionally to make sure that it happens. Can I have the first slide, please? Yeah, okay. I'm not feeling the love. I did.
Press it hard.
Harder than that? Do I point at that?
Control is for you.
Yeah, there we go, that's fine. So that'll work. So what is 9 days of early voting? As Clerk Bowie said, in November of 2022, the voters passed the constitutional amendment for voter rights that allows all voters to cast a ballot before Election Day. During the early voting period, voters are issued a ballot and an early voting site where they can insert the ballot into a tabulator. The results are tabulated at the close of the results are tabulated, but they are not. Excuse me, I'm having a day. The results are put into the tabulator, but they are not tabulated until the close of polls on Election Day. So that means you put them in the tabulator during the early voting, but they don't get tabulated until the end of the night on Tuesday of Election Day. Let's see if I can do it again. And it's not gonna let me, so go ahead with the next one.
The down button.
I did hit the down button, I swear. It doesn't love me. Maybe. Oh, the up button did it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, I'm making him crazy. So why did we decide to consolidate? As Clerk Bowie explained, we are a county, we have 23 jurisdictions. And of those 23 jurisdictions, we have 13 that have only one precinct. That means they're single clerks and single precincts, and a lot of those clerks are part-time. So I sat down and I did an estimate of what it would cost those precincts, those clerks, if they had to do this by themselves. And so the cost for them in 1 year, if they went alone, bought the equipment, hired the people, did these 9 days of early voting, would be about $64,000 each. which would cost countywide $1.4 million. So I took those numbers and I figured, okay, now if we all pool together and we do it in one spot, and we purchase just enough equipment for the one spot, and we hire just the people for that spot, it would work out to about $8,000 for each precinct for a single year, which is $185,000 countywide. That's a substantial savings. And as Clerk Bowie said, it's not the county clerk's responsibility, but from the very beginning, even when Proposal 22-2, I used to be a clerk, I've had a heart for this. I feel for those clerks, and I felt that it was my responsibility as a former clerk and working for the county clerk to do what I could do to make things better for them. And this just made total sense to me. So who's consolidating countywide? Well, I said there are 23 jurisdictions, by the way, one is missing, I'm sorry. We have 21 of the 23 jurisdictions participating. I have 2 that have decided that they want to do early voting sites on their own, and that's fine. It's they can do it if they want to, but the other 21 are partaking in the consolidated site that we are going to have at the Muskegon County Marquette campus, which is the Baker College. And it's not, no, it's just time. And a lot of people have asked me, why only one consolidated site? Well, the reason why I decided to only do one site for now is because it's easier to expand than it is to contract. So we're going to start out the first year with one site. This is all new. We're going to take one site, and actually, if you look at a map, if we go back to I'm not going back to the map because I'm having fun with this. The site that I picked, which is the Marquette Campus Student Center at Baker College, is almost dead center in the county. So we're going to start there. After the first year, I'm going to look at the numbers, and if we have enough of a flow of people coming into the early voting sites, we're going to look at maybe expanding and maybe doing a northern site, maybe doing a southern site. But for now, we're going to start with one site and go from there. And what happens in the future is going to be based on the data after the first year. Now here's a calendar of what the early voting days for February. So it's going to start on Saturday, February 17th, and these are the hours. Saturdays, both Saturdays in the 9 days of early voting are going to be 8 to 4 p.m. Sundays are going to be 10 to 6 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are from 9 to 5. And Thursday is a long day from 11 to 7. And then the election day is February 27th. And then here are the days before the August. We're actually going to start in July. So July 27th is the first day of early voting for August. And then the last day is going to be August 4th. Election day is August 6th. And then for the November election, we're going to start on Saturday, the 26th of October. And yay, we get to be open on the 31st. Halloween, that's the long day too. That's going to be a fun one. And then Sunday, the 3rd, is the last day of the 9 days of early voting. And then we have questions about, is the early voting secure? The early voting equipment is certified by a bipartisan board of canvassers and tested by local officials. That means that when the equipment comes in, it's tested. The accuracy testing is done by the County Board of Canvassers, and it's bipartisan, so we make sure that everything's accurate and correct. When you go into the early voting site, it's just like a precinct on election day. The voters are checked in, they're verified to make sure they're registered to vote, and they're also checked to make sure that they haven't already voted. The difference in the early voting site from the precinct site is when they're checked into the laptop computer, that's live. It's live qualified voter file, so it checks every person day to day. If they vote on Monday, try to come in on Thursday, I'm going to see that they've already voted on Monday. The early voting poll book ensures voters only vote once. And then the bipartisan election inspectors checked with clerk supervision and they work at the early voting in-person site. So at the early voting in-person site, part of the contract with the clerks that are participating is they are going to work at the early voting site as supervisors, and they've already started. So of the 9 days of early voting, there's going to be a clerk supervisor, plus there's going to be a chairman, a chairperson, an election inspector, plus election inspectors. So there's going to be, and at this point, I'm going to have 1 chairperson and 5 election inspectors every day, plus the clerk supervisor. So there are going to be a lot of people there where they're going to be doing their job just like they do on election day. And so the voters cast paper ballots, which are stored in a secured sealed ballot containers each night. And the ballot containers, I've ordered ballot containers, so there's a ballot container for every single day. So I have 9 ballot containers for every one of the 9 days. It's easier to keep track of them, and if we have to do a recount, we know day 1 from day 9. This is where I let you all have questions and answers. I'm ending a little early, but I'm sure you have a lot of questions, so.
Hi, thank you very much. 2 questions, one probably very easy. I'm not aware in the last major election, the national one, that there were any problems here. And number 2, I understand people can get absentee ballots if they are either not able to drive or don't have a vehicle to get to the center. Is there any thought maybe at the city halls or township halls that maybe there be a minivan or something to take people to the Baker site?
The first question, no, we did not have any problems at the last major election here in Muskegon County. Someone has brought that up, and I don't know. I mean, there has been talk. I've actually considered maybe talking with Matts and using Go vehicles. The only reason I hesitate is because with absentee ballots, people do have the option to actually have absentee ballots mailed to them, and then they can mail them back. I mean, if it comes to a point where we need to maybe consider that, if we see a lot of people that aren't being serviced that want to vote, that may be something to look at in the future, absolutely.
Just out of curiosity, how do you manage that? I normally vote absentee. So say I vote absentee, but then I try to go in, so I just put my ballot in, so it's not counted yet, right? So if I go in then and try to vote on, the early voting, how do you keep track of those things?
Well, the thing is, if you turned your absentee ballot into your local clerk has logged that absentee ballot into the qualified voter file. So if you come into my early voting site, it's going to show up. So I'm going to know. And I'm going to ask.
So I noticed that there's no early voting day the day before the actual election. Why is that? I mean, are you getting ready for the election, or?
It's the way that the statute read. It was the 9 days of early voting.
Okay,
Yep.
so just the Monday
It was
night.
the second Saturday, starts the second Saturday before the election and ends on the Sunday before.
Okay, makes sense.
Yep.
Let me ask my fellow Rotarians a question first. Who here is an election volunteer worker? I encourage more hands to go up in the future. It's something that we need, something that we at the City of Muskegon, I see Roger at Norton Shores, precinct worker. We need your help as members of the community to come and do a job that people are recoiling from. You can see what the headlines are across the country. So we're having issues finding people wanting to stand into the very important position in our democratic process. So my question for Lori is, what is the pros and cons of going with an absentee ballot, as Kathy mentioned, or with the early voting? Why would one do one or the other?
Well, the early voting is, a lot of people like to be able to have a ballot in their hand and put it in the tabulator. But going to the precinct on election day doesn't necessarily work. So that's why they like the early voting. The absentee ballot, on the other hand, you get that in the mail, you can open it up, you can look it over, especially if it's got a lot of candidates or a lot of proposals and things on it. You can take your time, look it over, make your choices, put it back in the envelope, seal it, and send it back to the clerk, and it runs through a tabulator. So there are, there are pros and cons. It really is personal preference. But with the 9 days of voting, you have more opportunity to actually go into a precinct and put your ballot in a tabulator. And that's what the voters wanted. They wanted more opportunity. By the way, I have applications to work as an election inspection for my 9 days of early voting, and I am recruiting, just so you know.
Thank you, Lori, for the great information. Question on the two primaries, February and May. What's going to be on each of those and why two separate ones? And then when will absentee ballots be mailed?
Absentee ballots, actually, I just sent ballots to the printer, so hopefully they will be back next week, and they will get out in the mail within, I would say, a week and a half. The primary election is just the presidential primary, okay, February. You must be thinking of the general primary in August. That's different because that's everything but the presidential primary. So that's from all the Senate all the way down to everybody elected official in the county is going to be on August, plus whatever proposals are on there. So that's going to be a lot bigger election than this one.
I want to thank you for your courageous and good work on this complex process. This might be a naive question, but why did new machines have to be bought?
The reason why is because it's the 9 days of early voting sites they are considered a precinct, a separate entity. So you can't vote on an early voting site and take it into a precinct and vote in a precinct because you can't distinguish which ballots were early voted or which ballots were a precinct vote. That's why.
Referring to absentee ballots, how do you determine who's actually returning or has filled out the ballot? Do you have copies of their signatures that you can validate?
Yes.
And when someone dies, do you get that information?
Yes.
Good.
I do. It actually comes to my office. The death certificates cross my desk, and I go in and when someone dies, I mark them as deceased in the qualified voter file. When someone registers to vote, when they register to vote either via driver's license or whatever method, their signature is scanned, and that signature comes up in the qualified voter file, and that's the signature that is used to verify their signature for the absentee ballot applications.
And I was specifically with the deceased. My husband died on New Year's Eve a number of years ago, but I still received his ballot, absentee ballot.
Really?
Yes. I did take it in and notify the office, but that's why I asked the question.
It should, yeah. They're coming across daily. I check them daily.
Here is a question. My husband suffers from tremor or shaking. How is he able to fill out the ballot? When he dictates me what is his candidate for such and such, do I have to write it for him, or he has?
If you do an absentee ballot, there is a on the absentee ballot envelope, there is a form that says that you're filling out, it's being filled out by somebody else, and you complete that form. And then if his signature changes, what the local clerk should do is if it comes in and it looks too different, they would contact him and have him come in and say, I need you to come in and verify your signature. Because if your signature changes too much, they're not going to accept it. So there is a process to go through, and it happens a lot. And as a local clerk, I've done that. I've physically gone out to people and said, and people I know, and their signature has changed for whatever reason, health reasons, and I've had them re-sign so I can see that, yes, this is their signature. But there is a way that you can, yes, fill out the ballot for them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add this too, because I've had a lot of questions about, well, if you have one consolidated site and we're from different precincts, how does that work? Well, we will have on-demand printers that print once you sign in, and we go through the QVF to ensure that where your precinct is, the ballot will automatically print for your individual area.
So there have been a number of questions about absentee ballots. Is this location going to be a qualified drop-off location for the absentee ballots? And then if not, is that message also being sent out to voters? Because I think that might be a possibility of confusion.
Well, it is not, but that doesn't mean that I can't let the local clerks know that their ballots are at my site. So I would probably allow people to drop them off and then notify clerks to come and get their ballot, the absentee ballots. There is one thing that I don't know, a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to tell you, is that in the past, a lot of people have brought absentee ballots into the precincts and said, I want to put my absentee ballot through a tabulator, okay? And they have not been allowed to do that. With this proposal 22-2, they now can do that. So that's going to be a big change. In the past, it was if you came in with your absentee ballot in a precinct, you either had to spoil that ballot and get a new ballot, or you had to take it to your clerk, and the clerk, it was a big rigmarole. Now, if you bring in your absentee ballot into the precinct or the early voting site, you can vote your absentee ballot. And that is a big change, and that's new.
If you're homeless or don't have an address or an ID, are you still available to vote? And how would you verify that?
If you have to be registered to vote. If you're registered to vote, you can vote.
So you would have to have some type of an ID.
You'd have to
from
have
the
some
state.
sort of ID
So
to
you just
register to
can't say,
vote.
I'm homeless and
Yeah.
I want to vote.
Part of the qualification to vote is you have to have some sort of picture ID. So and that's how you get registered to vote. So somewhere along the line, someone has had a picture ID. Now, they may be homeless now, but they had a picture ID with an address on it.
They do have to have an address?
They should have, yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the excellent questions. I'm sure we all were thinking along the same lines on many of them. So as a thank you for your presentation today, Muskegon Rotary will make a donation to Hand Wash. Hand Wash is a cooperative initiative between Terra Nueva and Haiti and Champion Rotary District 6290 to provide clean water, sanitation, and hygiene in rural areas of Haiti. So thank you very much. Got my marching orders. We're ready for our birthdays. We celebrated a little early with Rob, that's okay. But as you see, we have another special birthday up there. Happy birthday to Kim Boersma, our club coordinator. Rob Cook, Josh Silvis, January 11th also. John Selman, January 13th. America Dobry, January 14th. Mark Eisenbarth, January 14th. Susan Crane, January 15th. And Don Kalis, January 15th. Susan is in Florida and paid early, so let's follow her example and give your $10 donations to the Caring Connection. So happy birthday to everyone there. We're ready for our spotlight video for today, and Mike, if you can roll tape.
My name is Rob Mathis, and I joined Rotary because I was looking for something to do in my community that others were doing that helped support the community, to be out at the front line supporting the community. I am married to my beautiful wife, Raina, more than 15 years. We have 13 children, 22 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Wow. I am a graduate of Muskegon Community College with a degree in marketing and management. I went on to Kaplan University and got my bachelor's in human resource management. City Warrior, we take in donations from the community and reallocate those donations to go out to those that are in need. We don't ask any questions about what your situation is. We just want to help you and better your situation and make you feel good about yourself. I think that the Rotarians, the Muskegon Rotarians, you guys do an excellent job serving the community, and let's just keep up doing the good work that we're doing, serving our community. Let's get out there and get on the front lines, and let's just do the best that we can do to make our community the best community that there is.
Thank you very much for that very inspirational example of vocational service right here in our own community. I am pleased to have an induction ceremony for today, and I invite Irma Carney and her sponsor Doug Brown to please come forward. Hi there, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Would you like me to? All right. Of course, it's not going to work. Anyways, Irma Carney. I met Irma several years ago, and some of you may be familiar with her business that she had on Pine Street, the front porch. I had talked to her about some of the great things that we do here at Rotary. And if anybody knows Irma, I know Dave Alexander knows her very well. She is a go-getter. I mean, I can't tell you, if you remember some of the things that happened down Pine Street, that was all Irma. And I had a list here of things that she accomplished. Okay, so she is a mom of 2, Braylon and Xavier. She married her best friend Michael when she met him in the 6th grade. She is a Notre Dame fan. Go Irish. She is a sushi lover. Now, during the first attempt of this, somehow it went Solomon rolls, but she had corrected me, and it is a salmon roll is her favorite sushi. All right. Some of you may or may not know, and very proud of this, is that Irma is a Rosebud Sioux Native American, so which is really cool. She has a dog named Walker, or 2, no, she has a dog. Kale and Lucy. Okay. What is it? Teo. Okay. All right. That's another misprint of mine. And I know we're going to hear a lot of yelling here. She is a proud Muskegon Big Red and a member of the Big Red Athletic Foundation. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to our president.
Thank you. I can echo the go-getter. I was privileged to attend the orientation meeting where Irma was there, and let me tell you, go-getter. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, it is my privilege to induct a new member today. Irma Carney, you have been chosen for membership in the Rotary Club of Muskegon because your fellow members believe you to be a worthy representative of your profession and that you possess the qualities that will help you exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in your public, business, social, and private life. By joining the Rotary Club of Muskegon, you become part of a worldwide business organization of business and professional leaders, united in fellowship and dedicated to encouraging and fostering the ideal of service and high ethical standards to help create goodwill and a more peaceful world. Because you are a member of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, you will be welcome to join the fellowship of any Rotary Club worldwide. Membership in Rotary is an honor and a privilege. With this privilege, there are obligations. The Muskegon Rotary Club asks that you attend the club's meetings regularly, perform your share of club service, and use your knowledge and talents to help Muskegon Rotary carry the principles of Rotary into the daily life of our community. Do you accept these obligations of membership? I do. She said yes. Thank you. I'll hand this to you, Doug. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I'm pleased to ask Doug Brown, your sponsor, to give you this Rotary pin so your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as a Rotarian. Please wear your pin with pride. We will also present you with, hold on here, a little more Rotary swag there. We will also present you with a plaque displaying the ideals of Rotary, a copy of the 4-way tests, and a brand new membership directory. Woo-hoo. Finally, I have a challenge for you. My challenge is for you to share the gift given to you by your sponsor, Doug Brown. I ask that you invite another person of good character and commitment to Rotary's motto of service above self to join our club within the next 6 months. By sponsoring a new member, you will share the honor of becoming a Rotarian. Do you accept this challenge? I do. She does. Thank you. Muskegon Rotarians and guests, please rise. Irma Carney, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I formally admit you to membership and welcome you as a member of the club. Fellow Rotarians, please recognize the newest Rotarian in the world, Irma Carney. Congratulations. Congratulations, Irma. We are so happy to have you join us. You can relax and just bask in the glow of becoming a Rotarian. Oh, and now I invite Meredith Smiley to please come forward. We have to disappoint 2 more people today, and I don't know if you wanted to talk about the district raffle, just as a reminder. Oh, she's ready. Go for it, Meredith.
All right, we're down to 2 more weeks, and this week we will say goodbye to 2 more Rotarians. So Mr. Vogus, will you help me out? Okay, Kevin. Is Kevin here today? Don't see him. All right, well, thank you, Kevin. This one is Youth Programs, Interact and Rotaract. Our youth programs take action, build international understanding, and make new friends around the world. Interact clubs bring together young people ages 12 to 18 to develop leadership skills while discovering the power of service above self. Find out how serious leadership can be seriously fun by participating in Interact or Rotaract, and join a global movement of young leaders who are developing innovative solutions to the world's most pressing challenges. So thank you, Kevin, for your participation. And Mr. Vogus, we're going to say goodbye to 1 more. Oh, I was scared to go back to my seat. I'm sitting next to Pam today. All right, so for Judy, ending polio. Rotary has been working to eradicate polio for more than 35 years. Our goal of ridding the world of this disease has never been closer. As a founding partner of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, we've reduced polio cases by 99.9% since our first project to vaccinate children in the Philippines was launched in 1979. Rotary members have contributed more than $2.1 billion in countless volunteer hours to protect nearly 3 billion children in 122 countries from this paralyzing disease. Rotary's advocacy efforts have played a role in decisions by governments to contribute more than $10 billion to further our efforts. Today, polio remains endemic only in Afghanistan and Pakistan, but it's crucial to continue working to keep other countries polio-free. If all eradication efforts stop today, within 10 years, polio could paralyze as many as 200,000 children per year. $3 is the average cost to fully protect a child against polio. 430 million children have been vaccinated in 39 countries since 2017. So thank you, Judy, for participating. And next week we will have our champions. And again, as our president noted, I am selling the 50/50 annual 2024 raffle tickets. They're $20 a piece. I will take your cash or a check to the Rotary Foundation, District 6290, and those will be on sale through the end of February.
Why don't you mention, and you can even throw me under the bus about who screwed up your count.
Next week, we will have 5 participants. So we'll eliminate 3 to get to our final 2 because I numbered 1 through 20 and Ginny took the top spot where your name is supposed to just be a header. So we had 21 people that participated this year.
So there you go.
There you go.
Next week when you go, wait a minute, why are there 5? We have some announcements today. A few of you are going to be making the announcements. If you could please come up and get ready. I will lead with a couple that I've been given. Next week, we go back to the Delta, so don't come here for our meeting on January 18th. This is just to see if you're paying attention, you know, so. Rewind will not meet this evening. And now I have a couple of announcements that I was asked to share. I'm pleased to announce that Sarah Rinsema-Sabinga will be joining Gail Ringelberg and some Grand Haven Rotarians on the Honduras team, which also includes another librarian and 2 Muskegon High School Interact students, to help build and equip a school library for CEB Manuel Bonilla School in Barrio El Carmen, or Carmen, Santa Rosa de Copan, Honduras. Forgive the Spanglish. Jason Piasecki also asked me to share an announcement. Let's see, maybe get the right one. Muskegon Rotary Club is proud to announce the release of the Muskegon Rising podcast. The podcast features Rotarians interviewing change makers, bringing positive growth to Greater Muskegon. The inaugural episode features an interview with Muskegon County Sheriff Mike Poulin by Muskegon County Prosecutor DJ Hilson. Mike and DJ discuss everything from law enforcement's relationship with the community to the Polar Patrol ice cream truck. We all want to hear more about that. A special thank you to hosts DJ Hilson, Kendra Robinson, Nick Green, Aaron Mikey, Emily Morgenstern, Lisa Stafford, and the incomparable Mike Fogus for producing the podcast. New episodes drop on Tuesday. Check the rim, and there is a link to the podcast. So who's first? Arn? Ladies first.
Okay, I actually have 2 announcements here for you. One is that we are going to be having a Braver Angels workshop February 23rd from 8:30 to 11:30 at the Mona Shores Library Community Room. You might remember you had a presentation by Braver Angels back in September where they kind of described what their work is and what they do. And part of their work is to do these seminars to help us to learn communication skills. You know, we got so polarized that it's hard to talk to people with varying views. And so this workshop is really designed to help us learn to listen better, to really be curious about what someone's viewpoint, you know, how they develop that viewpoint, and not just assuming that because they don't think what you think that they must be a moron or an idiot or something. You know, I mean, we really need to have more civil conversations with one another. And that's really what this workshop is designed to do, to help respectful conversations that clarify differences, search for common ground, and affirm the primary importance of our relationships. So we've got a maximum of 50 that we can have that day. So there'll be a Eventbrite website where you can sign up in the RIM. So please check the RIM for that. And if you're interested in that, it's free of charge, and we will give priority to Rotarians, but we will also then allow the general public to fill in some of the spaces if we don't have enough Rotarians. So that's one thing we're inviting you to. The second thing is we are going to participate as part of the Great Michigan Read. You might remember we just did a read of Homegoing, which was more of a lakeshore read. Now there's a Michigan Read, which is Firekeeper's Daughter. It's written by a Native American author. She's from the Chippewa tribe. And it really describes the culture, and it takes place in Michigan. The author actually lives in Michigan. And one of our goals is we'd really like to have the author come and speak to us. And so we're trying to figure out how to get that to happen. And of course, that takes money. And so we're trying to figure that out as well. So if anybody is interested, we'll take any kind of donations toward that. But we will be having various activities, book reads, discussion groups through the libraries, and we'll try to do one for Rotarians as well. So, and we're going to sign up with the humanities group in Michigan, and then we will have probably free books to give out to Rotarians as well. So, and the activities will probably take place in March, like third week of March, something like that. So, stay tuned.
Thank you, Nancy. Aaron.
Good day, Rotarians. Aaron Bozart here. I'm here to make an announcement that is in keeping with President Jenny's earlier reference today to Rotary being a service-oriented, service-focused organization, and of course also reflected in our mantra, service above self. And the subject I'm here to announce involves food trucks. Some of you, many of you may recall that at the advent of COVID in 2021, Rotary, as our service project that year, exclusively mostly focused on food trucks. 10 trucks were supported, underwritten by Rotary that year because of the dire circumstances we were all in. 2022, we did 3 more food trucks. And there's been discussion about food trucks ever since. Many of you have asked me sort of just in passing what the status is of food trucks, and there continues to be interest. I personally believe food trucks also provide a great opportunity for the community to see Rotarians in action. And I've conveyed that to board members over time. At the end of 2023, I believe either at the November or December board meeting, the board of directors discussed and determined that we want to sponsor and underwrite at least 2 food trucks for this year, and we will be doing that. I have moved ahead and made the arrangements. And so this is kind of a save the date notice for you, an alert. We will be doing 2 food trucks the first half of this year. One will be on Wednesday, March 27, and the second one, Wednesday, April 24. Both of these food truck dates begin food distribution at 4 p.m. and wraps up at 6 p.m. In order to do a food truck successfully, we need a minimum of 10 volunteers from this club. 15 is better. It kind of lightens the load for everybody. It's also a great opportunity to involve some of our students, either exchange students as well as from the various Rotaract clubs. So for those of you involved with that, keep that in mind. Again, April 24, March 27. Both distributions, food distributions, will take place at Temple Methodist Church. In the parking lot of the church, which is 2500 Jefferson, for those of you maybe not familiar. It's right across the street, literally across the street from the main entrance to Muskegon Heights High School. There's a nice open parking lot. We will be doing the food trucks in partnership with Muskegon County Cooperating Churches. They provide a lot of the logistics, the hardware, tables, setup, but then they require sufficient volunteers to make it happen. That's where Rotary comes in. So we as Rotarians are both the underwriters of these food trucks financially. Each food truck costs about $850 and provides about 7,500 pounds of fresh food. So if you do the quick math, you'll find that's a very economical way to provide people in need with food support. The other thing that's worth noting, people sometimes ask, food trucks are part of the national network of Feeding America, which is underwritten by the federal government, and then supplemented substantially by donations from corporations of all kinds, large and small. So it's basically a network process from top down, national to local, but we as Rotarians in this instance are part of what makes it happen. So save the date, March 27, April 24, 4 p.m. Get hold of me if you'd like to get on the roster for either of those dates or have any questions.
Thank you, Arn. Andy?
Make sure when there's a list of announcements that Arn Bozart goes last.
Noted.
I'm Andy Belo. I'm your DEI chair, and tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. at the Convention Center is going to be the annual Unity breakfast put on by Muskegon Community College. And Muskegon Rotary has purchased a table, and also Muskegon Rotary's DEI committee has purchased a table. The keynote speaker is Dr. Julianne Malveaux, author and entrepreneur, and there's going to be a panel discussion about the local business economy and business development of our Black community. So it sounds like it's going to be a really good event. I have tried to find everybody that I have tickets for who is here today. If I missed you, please come and get your ticket before we all leave. And I do have one spot open at the table, which I am going to auction off to the highest bidder. I'm kidding, it's free. So if you would like to, if anybody would like to have that one last seat at the table, please raise your hand. Oh, okay, there you go. I thought I already gave you one. Oh, you need two. Okay, got it. Okay, Rob, thank you. The table is filled.
Way to go, Andy. And ladies, thank you for your patience.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Megan. And I'm Candace. And we are both seniors at RP. As you might have seen on your way to grab lunch, we are hosting a chili cook-off as a fundraiser for materials to build houses in El Salvador. This will be my second time on this trip, but when learning about it for the first time, the words life-changing came up a lot. Before experiencing everything, it seemed to be over-exaggerated. However, I would say those are the perfect words to describe it. In El Salvador, I connected with so many kids and teenagers without even speaking their language. I saw the prettiest sights on the longest bus rides, and I got to experience a new and truly beautiful culture for the first time in my life. I worked the hardest I ever have in the blazing heat with some of the best people I have ever met. I am so thankful for this opportunity and so excited to return. I even hope to come back in a couple of years as a chaperone because I watched the chaperones from last year cry as they hugged the people that they met in El Salvador, and it was beautiful, and I would love for that to be me one day. This trip impacts so many people, both the recipients of the house and the students on this trip. The money we raised today and on February 13th from 5:30 to 7:30, will put us in the right direction to make this trip happen. Thank you for your time, interest, and consideration.
Thank you, ladies. They do have slips of paper on the tables with a QR code that you can use to purchase tickets. And I think that there's links in the rim if you'd like to be a sponsor. They need all that help. Thank you. We are ready. Thank you for patiently waiting for the raffle. Eric Seifert will be doing our raffle today. What are we going for first, Eric? $5. Okay. 267. Somebody, you get back your investment. Come on. Oh, there we go. Excellent. So Candace, good for you. 241 for $10. We're talking serious money now. Come on, people. Oh, way in the back of the room. Is that Mr. Locksterman? You have a glow behind you. Okay, for the big prize of the day, $20 that you could spend on a district raffle ticket if you wanted. 273, $20. Oh, we have a winner, but I can't see who it is. Oh, there you go. Congratulations, Rena. Thank you all for participating in the raffle. Next week's program will be an update by the Muskegon Career Tech Center. And if you will please rise, we'll recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are adjourned. Go out and create some hope in the world.